You were told not too long ago that globalism would make everything cheaper. That was the promise, remember? If we just outsourced our industry, our manufacturing, and the mining to the rest of the world, we'd all get rich and the world would become a safer, more connected place. But then you look at what's happened recently. In fact, in December at the Tzapa mine in Mexico, armed men, cartel members, intercepted a bus of silver miners. They took them. They vanished into the hills, and while those workers were eventually recovered, the message was sent. The world's silver supply doesn't just belong to the markets. It belongs to whoever has the most guns on the mountains of Zacazonapan. According to reports from Reuters and the Mexican Secretariat of National Defense, this isn't an isolated event, it's a business model. In fact, there was another recent kidnapping, and I believe a handful did not make it out safe and alive. And it leads to a question that nobody in Washington seems to want to answer these days. Why is the most critical metal for our modern world, the silver, in your phone, your car, your defense systems, dependent on the permission of drug cartels? It's a fair question, isn't it? Mexico is the world's leading producer of this stuff we love, silver. That's a fact. But according to data from the mining industry itself, companies like Industrias Piñoles are now forced to spend upwards of 10% of their entire budget on private security. They call it a security cost, but that 10% must be accounted, and we should call it for what it is, a corruption tax. And you're the one likely paying it. Every time you buy a piece of electronics or a silver coin, you are paying for the instability of a global supply chain. But here's the kicker. While our leaders talk about the green energy revolution, which according to the Silver Institute requires hundreds of millions of ounces of silver every single year, they are making it nearly impossible to mine that metal right here at home. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the United States have massive untapped deposits of gold and silver. We have the resources, we have the technology, and we have the most skilled workers on the face of the earth. So why aren't we digging? According to a report by the Fraser Institute, the permitting tail for a new mine in America can take 10, 15, sometimes even 20 years. And in that same time, a cartel can take over an entire Mexican state. Who does that benefit? It certainly doesn't benefit you. It doesn't benefit the environment because, as we know, American mining standards are the cleanest in the world. No, it benefits the people who want America to be dependent. And if you have arguments about that and you think, oh, well, maybe it's France that's the cleanest standards, well, if we look at that in the Paris Climate Accords, we can also draw lines that say, well, yes, on paper, France looks very clean and energy neutral and carbon neutral, but that's because they're sourcing things in the middle of Africa, and they're paying for all of the horrific processes to get their materials out of the ground in nations that are basically left to their own devices while France looks great. That's also a fact. So, does it benefit America? No. It only benefits the people who want America to be dependent. They want you to be dependent on foreign cartels for your silver, dependent on foreign regimes for your energy, and dependent on digital currency so they can switch it off when you say the wrong thing on the internet. But there is a different path. True culture of currency isn't about just owning metal. It's about a radical idea that a country like ours, founded in 1776, should be able to provide for itself as we once did. Imagine, again, an America where we aren't rattled by the headlines from Mexico. Imagine a market where the price of silver is determined by American ingenuity and American labor rather than margin calls and, let's say, cartel kidnappings. It's a hopeful vision because it means the solution is right under our feet. We don't need a new global treaty. We don't need a new international organization. We just need the courage to use the gifts below our feet that has been given to us by our Creator on this beautiful land that we live. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.